Everybody wanna do. Today I'm gonna add my 2 cents to the conversation as it relates to the fact that politicians have given themselves a 200% increase, and at the bottom of the ladder, the rank and file in the public sector are getting a pittance. In all honesty, over the years we have been facing an injustice by the hands of politicians, the powers that be, for a very long time, and we are now saying enough is enough.
I said to all my MPs, we are in the business of public service. We're not in it for ourselves. We're not in it to make ourselves better. We are in it to make your life better off. And the moment that you feel that you are in politics for yourself, then I say to all of my MPs, the moment that it is appearing that you are in it for yourself and not for the people, that is the time when you should leave the scene as a politician.
This is how they sell themselves to the people, as if them are a savior. But in reality, they are just manipulators, acting as if they care.
How on earth do we justify these levels of salaries in a country that we're certainly doing far worse than Bahamas? And when you look at what is happening elsewhere in the region, there's absolutely no justification for this, surely.
Okay. So, again, first of all, Barbados, Trinidad, and Bahamas have not entered into public sector restructuring. The way in which they have recovered from COVID has not put them in a position that they can add this amount to their wage bill to pay their public sectors. Jamaica is the only country in the region coming out of a pandemic that's been able to offer these levels of adjustments to its public service.
And why, parliamentarians, given what we're seeing in terms of our level of development and our per capita income compared to those other countries?
I want you to stop and think for just a second about the last time a person had said in this country that the government does too much for them, that their salaries was too high, that teachers and police officers, nurses are paid too much. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen that? If you not take care of the people who are doing the hard work, how can you say that you are for the people? You can't say that you were not able to give other groups more than what you gave them, but then within a couple of weeks you are saying that we have recovered so well from the pandemic that you can give yourselves such a massive increase.
I shouldn't even be talking about this because this is internal, simple housekeeping thing. But these are the realities that go into ensuring that you have effective representation. And every government is afraid to touch it because if you touch it, people say you don't deserve it. Why we should pay you more and the country not running well? The country not running well.
Mr. Minister, I don't think anybody is against the increase, because if you are working somewhere, overtime increase is expected. But it's the vastness, the massiveness of the increase that we are talking about. While other groups, right, other people are suffering. And I mean people who are working hard. Nurses, teachers, police officers putting their lives at risk, and they cannot get an increase that they really deserve. Mr. Minister, what you did was unjust. It is unfair and it is a wicked act. And here you are twisting yourself in a pretzel, trying to justify such an evil act.
We are unable to attract and retain the talent that we need to run the public bureaucracy. That is going to change in salaries alone will not fix it, but it will go a long way towards addressing that problem.
Mr. Minister, come on, really? Let me ask you this. When was the last time a politician leave office due to low wages? Chuck, Henry, Samuda, Shah combined age is over 250 years. This is one of the biggest problems we have. The old guards won't step aside and let the younger ones take over. They go up well into their 70s, 80s and 90s and would rather die in the position. So the argument of attracting and retaining talented government service now hold no water. There are tons of young, talented college and university graduates who are ready and willing to represent the people, but uno not go nowhere. So you saying the increases to attract and to retain is a weak argument from a man that wants to be paid close to $25 million a year. Mr. Minister, let's pretend for a second that your logic makes any sense and we really need to attract and retain high caliber talent in the government. But no one whatsoever wants to be in politics. So they are leaving because they don't earn a livable wage. What about attracting and retaining high caliber talent in the public sector? Can you expect to ask people for value without providing them with value in return? Do you really expect to attract and retain the brightest minds in the public service without proper remuneration? So if you are going to use that logic to increase your salary by 200%, why not apply the same logic to all public sector workers? If I can get only 20%, why can you get 200%? So Mr. Minister, you are telling us that you recovered so well and you found yourself with so much money and you thought to take it for yourself. I didn't even know that the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers' salaries were that pitiful. You deserve a raise, you deserve to be properly compensated. That's not the issue that I have here. The issue I have is the amount compared to what was given to the rank and file in the public sector. When you're a leader and you are trying to transform, it is important that you have everybody at the table and that you work as best as you can to ensure that everybody gets their fair share. But where's the equity, Mr. Minister? Where's the fairness? If I recall, essential workers worked right throughout the pandemic, risking their lives while the political class was out partying and gallivanting. So it is downright ridiculous to double and triple your pay while only increase public sector workers' pay by a mere 20% over a 3-year period. These are the same people that put on a brave face and carry the country upon them back during the pandemic, and you are now telling them that they don't deserve to benefit as well. This is an indication, Mr. Minister, that the government only cares about themselves and does not care about the development of the country and its people. So Mr. Minister, if you plan to run with that logic about the recovery, attracting and retaining talent and not address the concerns of the people, I take it that the government has no interest in attracting and retaining high caliber talented people to the public service. And over 200% increase is illogical. I mean, 50% would have been okay, but how can there be such a massive increase when the entire rank and file of the public sector is struggling and are underpaid? The regular citizen is struggling to make ends meet, Mr. Minister, but somehow there is enough to increase your salary by over 200%. You were not given an increase, you took an increase, and if I understand correctly, you saying that you took the increase as a precursor to your commitment to work harder to show you deserve it is an insult to all citizens and the workers of Jamaica who have been working to keep the country afloat. Teachers, police officers and other public sector workers have to be biting their nails off. Them have to cuss and do all manner of evil to get 20% because the country not have the money. I think this transformation exercise was an opportunity for the government to be more deliberate in ensuring that the people benefited, but instead the public sector was forced to sign a wage agreement that didn't make us any better off than we were before. Giving yourself such a hell of an increase, and then on top of that, use all kind of big words and terminology to justify an action. The common sense approach, Mr. Minister, would have been to take care of the soldiers first before the general gets to eat.
Why we should pay you more and the country not running well? The country not running well because of that very reason. You have chosen to have an underpaid political class. How must they deliver? Is what you choose. So when you go to the bar and you start to talk about how we are going to get our politicians to be more effective by giving them more resources to be effective, for which you can hold them to account.
I know too many nurses, teachers and police officers who are struggling. So using your very own logic, Mr. Prime Minister, you and the government have chosen to have an underpaid public sector. How must they deliver? These underpaid teachers will not deliver what the country demands. The underpaid nurses will not deliver what the country demands. The underpaid doctors will not deliver what the country demands. And the underpaid policemen and women will not deliver, Mr. Minister, what the country demands. I get the point. It's time that the government realize that the country needs more than just politicians and the upper class minority to function. Imagine a country where a government consisting of 63 persons who already make a livable wage, believing they are entitled to much more because they believe themselves harder workers than a policeman fighting crime, than a teacher in a classroom full of students, than a nurse saving lives, and a fireman risking his life under tough circumstances. The justification of over 200% increase in salaries for ministers so that they can be more committed and accountable is a weightless and senseless statement, Mr. Minister.